There are reunions meant for laughter, reconnection, and nostalgia. But some reunions are designed to break a person. Tonight's story is about someone who walked into a room full of people eager to mock him, and walked out making every one of them face their own reflection. If you believe in kindness and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Loom. The invitation arrived on a dull Tuesday evening, resting crookedly on top of junk mail. Eli Thompson stared at his name written in elegant, practiced cursive. The paper felt smoother than it should have, as if someone had intentionally tried to make it look expensive. Class of 2018 reunion RSVP required. Below it glimmered a venue name, Helmsworth Hall. At the private school that once treated him like a glitch that didn't belong in the system, he had once walked those shiny floors alone, clutching textbooks so tightly it left marks on his palms. Brilliant, yes, teachers always said so, but brilliance never shielded him from whispers. He was the kid in thrifted hoodies, worn-down sneakers, and eyes too soft for teenage cruelty. When other seniors planned beach trips and family cruises, Eli spent nights hunched over glowing code screens, building projects he never showed. They didn't understand him then, and they never tried. Now, 5 years later, the invitation lay between his fingers like a dare that he almost threw it away. Almost. Instead, a calm half-smile touched his face because he knew something his old classmates didn't. The quiet kid they dismissed was now the founder of Silent Wave Systems, a company reshaping data security worldwide. He lived modestly in a small apartment, wore shirts that had survived too many washing cycles, and never advertised what he built. Not online, not through friends, not even on LinkedIn. He didn't need to, because the ones who doubted him would soon learn. The night of the reunion, it rained, a thin mist that clung to fabric. Eli arrived wearing a washed-out gray hoodie and shoes that told stories of miles walked. He pinned his name tag over the loose cotton and stepped inside. The cheers, chatter, and flashing lights quieted. Not loudly, but like a ripple muted before reaching shore. He heard whispers even before he reached the first table. He didn't change at all. Dude looks like he walked here. Some people peak in 8th grade. Someone laughed. Someone smirked. Someone remembered how he sat alone at lunch. He moved quietly, almost invisible, choosing a table near the back. He wasn't here for applause. Throughout the night, people floated like glitter in fluorescent air. Maddox Hart bragged about selling a startup idea to an investor, even though everyone near him seemed to know it was collapsing. Brianna Welch walked around with champagne and the same rehearsed compliments she had used in high school. Roman, always trying to blend into loud conversations, laughed hardest at jokes no one told. When Eli appeared in the slideshow, his picture slot showed a gray box labeled photo not provided. Snickers broke through the room. The host, Max Taylor, gestured theatrically toward the blank space. Well, I guess some paths just don't update. Laughter. Loud, needless, childish. Eli wiped the condensation ring beneath his glass. One soft circle, slow enough that no one could say anger made him shake. He simply watched. They called up awards. Best glow up. Most international lifestyle. Biggest dreamer. They saved Eli for last. Max lifted an envelope, pausing with dramatic cruelty, just like he did in high school assemblies. Honorable mention, most likely to still be different. A few clapped. A few snorted. Eli stood. He nodded, soft and respectful, as if accepting scientific recognition rather than mockery. Then he sat back down, no speech, no retaliation, just silence, and somehow that silence unsettled people more than if he'd walked out. Later, when lights dimmed and voices cracked beneath alcohol, Max regained the stage. And before we end tonight, special thanks to the event sponsor. Helmsworth hosts would not have been possible without a generous private donor. He held up a blank card. Though, this donor prefers to remain anonymous. A few shrugged. Some were too distracted by failing phone apps, unread investor messages, and breakups that had gone nowhere. That was the moment Eli rose. The sound of his chair sliding back cut through everything. Heads turned. Even the DJ lowered the volume. He walked calmly toward the stage, ascended the steps, and adjusted the sleeve of the worn hoodie that everyone assumed defined him. He spoke softly, yet every word traveled straight into their chests. I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight, and I especially want to thank the sponsor, who isn't anonymous. It's me. A laugh burst somewhere, quick and disbelieving. Then the projector changed. Not fireworks. Not cinematic slides. Just facts. Articles, headlines. Magazine covers. Silent Wave Systems secures major partnership. Eli Thompson named tech visionary in Rising Leaders issue. Market value surges after Thompson announces expansion. There were photos of him, not edited, not fabricated. Professional, polished, taken in corporate buildings none of them had ever been inside. Estimated net worth, $24 million. Someone whispered too loudly. That's real. Another voice trembled. He built all that? The screen stopped shifting. Silence replaced mockery. Eli looked at them, each face suspended between pride that had collapsed and shame that didn't know where to hide. He didn't smile wide, just slightly, like someone who finally finished a story nobody believed he was writing. You all told me once that I wouldn't make it, and maybe I believed that too. But the difference between what you said and what I became came down to patience, work, and silence. The same silence you laughed at. Some lowered their eyes. Some pretended to fix jewelry or straighten jackets. Some held their breath. Eli continued gently, not to humiliate, not to punish. You called me strange. You called me weak. But what you saw as weakness was focus. What you thought was failure was discipline. And tonight, you are standing in a hall I paid for. You are celebrating on a stage sponsored by the kid you once mocked. He stepped away without waiting for applause. He reached the exit door, paused only once, not looking back, but letting the silence settle like a lesson left on chalkboard. Outside, the rain had softened. Cars glowed with reflections of streetlights. Eli walked into the night, not triumphant but free. Because sometimes winning isn't proving someone wrong. It's knowing you never needed them to believe in you. And walking away with peace. If the story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And before you go, comment below. Would you reveal your success? Or would you walk away silently?